It's time to get real.
What's up, Jay?
It's a new experience. Spirituality. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one. Spirituality. Got a question for RLN? Spirituality. It's time to get some answers, baby. Spirituality.
Oh, now it's getting real.
It's time to get down. Yeah, you gonna feel good now. Real good. But I'm time to get real.
Woo. Woo. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Reality Spirituality. I'm your host, happiness specialist, Rebecca L. Norrington. And what the hell does that mean? Happiness specialist. Who the heck does she think she is? Well, defining happiness, I define happiness as the ability to vibrate an energy of peace and contentment regardless of what happens. And when I say vibrate an energy of contentment, you can feel when your shoulders are down and relaxed. You can feel when everything is flowing. You can feel the difference between flowing and resisting, surrendering and resisting. And the practice is to maintain a surrendering mode with trust and with a strong trust, believing and knowing that whatever is happening is there for a reason, is there to serve me, is there for, why am I yelling at the poor audience? He is there to transcend, to get to another level of awareness and understanding. And I've been teaching these classes, The Truth About Happiness, for over 15 years in California, in Oregon, and now I'm in Nevada. And it's the same. How about this? I was going to say the same audience, but it's not the same audience. But what it is, it's the same program that I come in contact with all the time. And that program is that it's somewhere, it's something outside. It's the issue is, the problem is, has nothing to do with the person in the mirror. The problem, the issue, the challenge is always out there. It's always those people, them, the world, the state of the state of the world. And I'm here to tell you, everything starts, stays, and remains internal. It is an inside job. And that is the power, and that is the truth, and that is the uncomfortable. Let me say this. It starts off feeling uncomfortable. It starts off feeling challenging. But when you start practicing looking in the mirror and asking for, how do I put a spotlight on? How do I focus on all of these programs that everyone has received, myself included? How do I focus on eliminating the programs in order to experience more peace, more contentment, more happiness? And that's it. That is the whole, that is it. It's not complicated. It's not a confusing formula. It's very simple. The programs are the issue, the program beliefs, the program stories, the program thoughts. And you're not your stories, and you're not your thoughts. And today's show is a continuation of what we talked about last week, why it is an ongoing, glaring challenge to to confront the mind, confront this constant chatter, and ask for another perspective. We talked about it last week, but this just keeps coming up. When I talk to a lot of people during the week. I'm on the OWL app. I don't know. It's free to download. It's spelled OWWLL. OWWLL. And I'm on the app every day, and you can talk to me for $3 for 10 minutes. But my point is this, and it is free to download. And if you use the code RLN, you get $10 to start making calls. But I digress. My point is, I talk to a lot of people during the week. And I spoke with someone within the last couple of days, and they kept regurgitating this story that is so ingrained and so stuck to the point where there is no other perspective. There is no other, there can't, it is impossible to tell the story another way. And I challenge you, my dear audience, to when there is a theory with evidence and a conclusion, and there's a conclusion to all of this evidence, and there's a conclusion to all of this analysis, and the conclusion is whatever that could be, whatever that is. Why is that coming up right now? No, thank you. And the conclusion is whatever you conclude, whatever the end thought is, know that is not, I'm going to say enough. I can say enough. It's not enough to describe. There are more than one way. There is more than one way to look at any specific challenge, problem, issue on this planet. And the good morning. And the proof is, I've given this example so many times. In fact, one of the students in the class last week mentioned that he was stopped at a stop sign, and he was, whatever he was doing, whether he was just daydreaming, looking around, looking on his phone, it didn't matter. He was stopped at a stoplight, waiting for the light to turn green. And apparently he didn't push the gas pedal as soon as the light turned green. And so the person behind him laid on the horn, just honked. And it wasn't a light tap. Oh, the light's green, honk. No, it was you idiot, look at the light turn green. That kind of honk. At least that's the way he described it. And the question was why, or the question wasn't why the person honked, but what do you do? How do you keep your own peace when faced with something that is, listen, this show is called Reality Spirituality, with something that happens every day? And the answer is very simple. It is never about the person honking. It's never about what someone else does or how someone else treats me or what someone else assumes or what someone else concludes or what someone else judges. It's never about that. It's about coming all the way back to the person in the mirror and having a settled, balanced, ease, relaxed, the vibration of satisfaction, the vibration of contentment. It's how to scratch the how. It's maintaining that. And when I'm rooted, and I mean rooted like tree roots in contentment, guess what? there is no other response that I'm going to give, that I'm going to speak, that I'm going to show other than contentment. You can't get anything but orange juice when you squeeze an orange. And so that is the practice of how is that maintained? And contentment is maintained with the practice of recognizing these buttons and these triggers and these stories that instantly, I'm speaking for myself, that can instantly take me into a place of reaction, because there's a difference between responding and reacting. So the reaction is all rote. The reaction is all a program. The reaction is just instant, just like a robot. It's instant. And how do I go from this robotic reaction to a conscious response? Not sometimes, all the time. And that's a practice. So back to the example of what do you do when somebody lays on the horn? Number one, the practice is knowing that it is never personal. Never. Even if they're honking at you to go, it's not personal. It's not personal when someone's calling your name. It's not personal when somebody's flipping you off. It's not personal. This is an impersonal universe. The number two, know that whatever that person is doing, whether it's honking a horn or screaming or yelling or flipping you off, that is the best they can do in that moment. That is the best response that they can come up with in that moment. They can't do anything better. They can't do anything, not even better, scratch that word better. They can't do anything different. These people that are prisoners of the programming, can't do anything other than what the program dictates. And that's why it's so important to be able to recognize, number one, that it is a program that I'm reacting to. It is a program that you're reacting to. And number two is to step over, rise above. I use that word transcend the programming, transcend this instant reaction. And how is that done? Sometimes, well, not sometimes, but a lot of times it's done over and over, like any other skill, over and over and over again. You know, these basketball players, they don't shoot the three-pointer without a lot of practice. I know that Steph Curry, before every game, I think he comes out and tries to shoot a three-pointer from the middle of the stands or down the hall, just some crazy place, but it's all coming from a practice. And so expecting to just enter this state without practice is not logical. Everything requires practice. Every single response, every consciousness, remaining conscious, requires practice. And when I speak to anybody, when I'm talking about civilians, I call them civilians, lovingly civilians. When I speak to a civilian, it is up to me. It is my responsibility to keep the peace. It's my responsibility to dictate whether the conversation is going to be filled with drama or peace. It's my responsibility, not theirs. You are the most powerful, not them. And the relationship is dictated by my energy. And if I'm like this, guess what? The relationship, the conversation is going to be like that. That is the power. That is the power, and that's also the responsibility. But let's stay on that for a second. It doesn't matter what you are experiencing. It doesn't matter what state you're in. Anything, any energy can be shifted with a different perspective. And the practice is to always, not sometimes, but always practice coming up with a different perspective. And I don't know about you, but I wasn't taught, I didn't learn that. Hey, another perspective. Meaning, so one of the things that the gentleman was talking about earlier was, the person looked at him and how rude and how inconsiderate. And I said, again, these people are doing the best they can. However, can you come up with another perspective of somebody laying on the horn? And the answer is yes. And it's a very common analogy where what if this person that is so persistent, so impatient, wants you out of the way, get out of my way, is hell bent on driving quickly, fast. Some people would say unsafe. What if they just found out that their loved one was hit by a drunk driver and they're in the emergency room? Can you see yourself driving a little bit quicker, with a little bit more urgency, with a lot more anxiousness and yes, the answer is yes. However, there is always another perspective that is just out there to be inserted. And when the mind, some people call it the ego, the monkey mind, when the mind is racing like that and only coming up with one way, with one idea, one way to look at any topic, trust me, ask the mind for another perspective, ask the mind for another way of looking at it. And guess what you're going to get? Complete silence. Give me another perspective, mind, because I know this situation is serving me in some way. It doesn't feel like it. It really doesn't feel like it in this moment. In fact, there's something wrong with this moment. This moment shouldn't be happening. Give me another perspective, mind. Silence. The mind feeds on turmoil. The mind feeds on being discontented. The mind feeds on something's wrong. The mind feeds on wanting more. The mind feeds on living in the past, in the future. The mind does not want to stay or live in and be consistent and live in the present moment. It just doesn't. It's not what it is. It's not what it does. It is fueled by feeling bad, when I say thinking bad thoughts, negative thoughts, complaining, comparing, having expectations. That's what the mind, that's the mind's what it is, what it's consumed with. Haven't you ever noticed there is no peace found the peace is not found with this mind. The peace is found with knowing the truth of your identity, which is pure presence. Peace is not found with this mind. It is, I don't know about your mind, but my mind is a constant bad news, Debbie Downer, and coming up with the craziest stories and conclusions. But the good news is I know that is not me. I am not the mind. I am not dependent on what this has to say. In fact, I asked one of the gentlemen at the gym. This was a couple of days ago. I said, "Do you believe that your mind is powerful?" And even the question was kind of threw him off a little bit. Uh, uh, yes, yes, the mind is very powerful. The mind is powerful. Your mind is powerful. Yes, yes, my mind is powerful. And then my next question, which had his head blowing off and steam coming from his ears. And my next question was, have you ever questioned the conclusions, the validity, the evidence that your mind comes up with? Have you ever questioned the mind? I'm not even going to say your mind, the mind. Have you ever questioned the mind? Question the mind. What is that? What does it even mean? Question the mind. And his answer was no. No questions. Everything that pops in here, I'm using it as evidence. I'm using it as truth. I'm using it as a place of reference. Everything in here, I know is the truth. I know is spot on. And I'm here to tell you, my dear audience, that no, it's not. No, this mind with just one perspective will have you falling into a tub, a barrel, a, a dumpster of more problems. One perspective equals more problems. One perspective equals a lot of problems. Practicing coming up with more than one perspective is key to finding, experiencing, witnessing more peace. And that's all I have today. This was a short day, short show. Let me think anything else I want to say. Oh, I don't know if I shared this. Is the latest. It's called Programmed for Unhappiness, Exposing the Untold Truth. It is on Amazon. And in this book, I list 56 program behaviors that subtract from happiness. And also in this book, I list 26 behaviors that add to happiness. Oh, let's see. Truth about your ego. Some of the chapters: the real you versus the programmed you, a true story, accept yourself without shame or guilt, reasons for suffering, are your thoughts the enemy, changing others, the solution, be a star, not a planet. This is a really good book. A lot of really good reviews. Program for Unhappiness. Anyway, that's the end of today's show. I want to thank you for watching and listening and sharing the show. Reality Spirituality is heard every Sunday at 9 a.m. And now Reality Spirituality is live on YouTube every Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I already said that. RebeccaNorrington.com is my website, RebeccaNorrington.com. Follow me on X at RL Norrington. I'm on LinkedIn. My Instagram handle is Reality Spirituality. YouTube channel is growing. Like and subscribe. First book, Reality Spirituality, The Truth About Happiness, can be purchased on Amazon. And the latest book, Program for Unhappiness. Until next week, my dear audience, I want you to remember who the hell you are. You are a physical extension of the universe, your conscious energy, having a human experience. You're always evolving, always changing, always growing, always expanding. Love is patient and love is kind. Be kind and be patient to yourself by accepting every single moment with grace, with trust, with surrender, with flow. And remember, you cannot have a happy ending to an unhappy journey. It is about the journey. You've been listening to Reality Spirituality Radio with yours truly, Rebecca L. Norrington. Remember, happiness is a practice skill, and I promise you, the more you practice, the more peace you're going to experience, and your experience reflects every moment. It reflects what you practice. Have a conscious wink, not wink, have a conscious week. Thank you for listening.
It's time to get real. It's a new experience. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one. You got a question for RL? It's time to get some answers, baby. Now we get real. It's time to get down. Yeah, you're gonna feel good now. Real good. Now, that's what I'm talking about.